Friends, hello everyone. Dimash always speaks warmly of his teachers. In an interview with Channel 5, answering a journalist's question about the secret of his success, he modestly said, quote, I was very lucky with my teachers. Teachers also fondly remember the obedient, hard-working boy and later the young man with wide eyes and perfect pitch. From birth, Dimash Kudabergan was surrounded by music. His parents, Svetlana and Kanad Aidbaev, artists, introduced their son to the arts from an early age. Dimash began studying music in childhood. His first teacher, Dinayas, recalls what these lessons were like in an interview on the Kurba Ora Media channel, OC. In the interview, Dinyazova talked about Dimash's hard work.
Speaking of Dimash, he would have made it anyway. He's a talented person, and that's it.
His extraordinary talent was mentioned during his first performance. The conversation touched on what kind of woman he'd be with, what awaits him in the artist's family, how to meet the Pijaja, and much more, and much more. So, listen up.
Can anyone introduce me to him? Anyone? So maybe it's not worth it. Speaking of Dimash, he would have made it anyway. He's a talented person, and that's it. Yeah. No one's heard of any of this news about his girlfriend being some Kazakh woman. Everyone's looking at articles about Mushkar's girlfriend. He keeps going off topic. He says, no, he's a very good man. He's a very good man. He simply had a truly excellent upbringing, so he would have succeeded sooner or later. Because human capabilities are beyond our comprehension, and his capabilities are beyond my comprehension. Honestly, I don't know how he does it. The most interesting thing is that I remember his entire upbringing. He was an ordinary child. An absolutely ordinary child. The only thing he doesn't have is perfect pitch. He absolutely would set apart his perfect pitch. Then it was his enormous curiosity. That is, he sat in the studio. His dad was still involved in the arrangements. They built a studio there. He sat in that studio. He saw how it was done, how the music was assembled bit by bit, starting with the drums, bass guitars, and so on. That is, he tried to play things that, say, other kids wouldn't try because he had the opportunity. He was immersed in the world of music because he grew up backstage. When his parents sang your songs on stage, naturally, you're always there. That's why he later became active in the studio at the original Philharmonica. He was an artist, a presenter. He tried his hand at everything. Of course, he had a certain shyness about some things, but he was just very curious and probably fearless. That's him. He really just made himself.
Yeah. So it turns out that talent is more important than hard work.
Of course. And we have a lot of talented people, who weren't able to realize themselves because they're always put it off until tomorrow, who say, oh, maybe later. This is now. Or say they lack some self-confidence. Yes. There are a lot of people whom I heard, for example, in those same karaoke clubs. There was a guy sitting next to me. We later started talking. He works as a lawyer. Yeah, but he just sings. He sings, he needs to be in music. He laughs and says, I have 2 higher education degrees, but I never studied music, not even at a music school. But he has an undeniable talent. Now I ask him something for development. He says, and why? That's all. So he has some specific direction in life that he found. So he's lucky that he's succeeding there, let's say.
And hard work. And reads.
Hard work, right? Definitely.
But you can even, thanks to hard work, you can take a person who can't help but sing. He's completely dry, nothing at all, no natural talent, and just take and make him the way. I like it when he's tone deaf. People often come up to me and say, hello, I'm tone deaf, but I want to study music. I say, we're talking. Are you listening? Can you hear me? She says, yes, I can hear you. Why do you say you have a hearing problem then? Well, a sense of rhythm, nothing, everything develops. You just need it. The earlier you start, the better. Keep in mind, you can develop it not by immediately enrolling a child in an instrument, but by first teaching a small child to clap in time. This is called a sense of rhythm, a sense of meter. Then I saw a video on Instagram. A dad was teaching a girl for symbols in front of them. Music was playing. He was showing her an orange. Where to clap? Clap the orange.
and she imitated him. So some of these are more of entertaining direction. If you choose, say, with a small child, then his wild desire comes next. If he really wants it, he will succeed.
Yeah.
They work on intonation. It doesn't happen that someone is born and sings brilliantly. Only talented children sing brilliantly. All the other children just work on it so that they can do exactly as well as this one.
Yeah.
So it turns out that, in general, you can develop whatever you want. You can teach both ear and rhythm. They teach them in the circus.
Yeah.
Right? Like monkeys playing the guitar. I mean, and anyone can be taught if they have a strong desire.
Yeah.
If, like I said, if they started all this in childhood, then it's not a problem at all. That is, parents should give their child the opportunity to express themselves in all areas so that they can really understand what they want to be.
So if young parents look at it, they have children, what age is best for them to send their child to do things like, well, music and so on, to develop it?
Generally, they tell me, let's say, 5 to 4 years old. I was at Cluj Baptiste School for gifted children in Almaty.
Yeah. They?
First recruit 4-year-olds. 4-year-olds. And they have to pay for their education. So the children study there for a whole year on a fee-paying basis. Then they start screening them individually. So they sift through all these kids and already know specifically which of them are gifted and which of them are not so gifted, let's say. Based on this, they, let's say, start recruiting for a piano class or a violin class. They put someone in the dumbra class. Let's say there's a big girl, a good big hand. Let's say she can play the dumbra. Next year, let's say those who didn't get in, they go back to studying for a fee. Those who did, they're already studying there for free. They're already enrolled in this school. So let's say in Achtouba, what should we do? I like, we have a group called CHER, so School of Aesthetic Development at our school children's palace. That's all. You can start, they only have classes one day on Saturdays. I know that for sure. Yes, you can send them there. So they have 20 minutes of choreography. They all dance together, they sing together, some courses, rhymes, and so on. First of all, yes, some developmental centers. You don't necessarily have to send your child to music school at age 4. No, you can discourage them completely. I started playing music age 8. Yeah. I don't think it's too late. I started at age 8 when I finished 9th grade. I graduated from music school and calmly applied to music college. And I continued. I already understood that this is my profession, my calling.
Yeah.
That's why there's no need to rush. You can just buy some developmental music books so the child understands what the drums are for, what the piano is for, what kind of guitar is, and so on, so on. It's all at a playful level. And now there are a lot of opportunities on YouTube. Yes, children's songs, for example.
Yeah.
A child should sing so that they have clear intonation, understand the rhythm, know the mood, and which song can be used where. Let's say he's in a good mood, he sings a good song today, a kind one. Let's say a cheerful one. He's in a bad mood, sad. He can sing a sad song based on the same lyrics, let's say. Yes, they heard it all. A good cheerful horse, I don't know. This is all the level of play. If the parents can go to the car with him, they put on some common CD. So just sing. This is development. Yeah. You can buy for the car, let's say, not listen to what everyone is listening to on the radio now, let's say, but buy individual CDs. Buy music by Mozart, buy music by Tchaikovsky, buy, I don't know, anything. Haydn there, Beethoven. Let it play slowly in the background. In any case, it draws you in internally. The child will not be, I don't know, somehow.
But when it comes to nurturing, there are many stories of talented people who grew up with strict parents who were really disciplined, got up very early, practiced piano, vocals, and other things for several hours a day and grew up to be stars. But there's another approach when you don't force a child too much, when you gently nudge them, giving them a choice to do or not to do. What's really important? What's the best choice if you want to raise talent to grow a star?
What approach? I wasn't raised in strict conditions. I was given a choice. I had a choice, and so am I. I can't have a strict schedule and so on with my children. They have a choice too.
Yeah.
Either you do it or you don't, let's say. Well, in any case, I move in, my children automatically move in my environment. And now I understand that in some areas they're much more proficient in my field than in any other. And I understand that this will influence their career choice in any case. When making a decision, that is what they'll choose. In any case, they already know this field with absolute confidence.
Yeah.
So there's no single recipe. You know, I watched a film from two perspectives and it was made in Soviet times.
It was about an outstanding ballerina, Mua, a choreographer, a teacher who trains young ballerinas. Wonderful.
Yeah.
There are very strict conditions, exercises, stretching, diets, ironclad discipline, yes.
Yeah.
From her perspective, they show her as an outstanding figure who trains prima ballerinas for various theaters, including the Bolshoi. And then they show the child's perspective. It's clear that she's in pain, it's clear that she wants to sleep, she wants to eat, she wants to go to her mother, she's just an ordinary child who wants to live a perfectly ordinary human life. So there's no set recipe. Every parent has their own intuition, I guess. I think the most important thing isn't probably raising talent. I think that the most important thing is raising a worthy person. Probably a beloved child, so that the child knows that they're loved. That's far more important than anything else. I don't know. Like Nobel Prizes and all the medals you'll have. If a child grows up in a comfortable environment, in a loving family, that's wonderful. Wonderful. And then it's either going to work out or not. It's impossible to predict in advance. I know a lot of cases where, for example, the child was drilled, but nothing good came of it. Often, yes, let's say, they give up on this business because it's not their choice, it's their parents' choice. We have a lot of families who are forced to do, yes, all doctors, you have to be a doctor, but the child has a completely different, I don't know, a star on the forehead, right? To bring much more benefit, then he simply, say, shakes up a few destinies. There, rather than just being an average worker somewhere in some environment in which your parents work. It seems to me better to be one of the first in some environment that you like the work should bring pleasure.
Uh-huh. Good. Okay, now there will be some funny questions. Well, maybe you don't have to think too much.
Just what does the survey come to you about?
Yes. Well, not exactly. Whatever comes to mind, you can answer. And why isn't Greenland green if in translation it means green land und go better?
Why isn't it green?
Yes, green.
And I haven't been there, by the way. I don't even know what it looks like.
Agrilandia is some kind of Arctic country, isn't it?
Nothing but ice. Nothing but...
Yes, nothing but ice.
Yes, I don't know. Maybe there was a glitch. You said it, honestly.
Don't think about it. I don't think about it. What would you choose? You were told you either leave Kazakhstan, now you can live anywhere, or travel anywhere, but you will never return, or you stay here your whole life and never go anywhere else. Zeko.
I'm staying here, not going anywhere. I definitely can't. You can't? Definitely can't. I tried it on wherever I was. I tried it on everywhere. What if I lived here and I can't? I want to go home. I want the steps, the air. I even know what our train station smells like. I can't live without it. It's still
very patriotic.
No, actually, you see, I don't even think about it because
some teenagers maybe just sit behind the scenes. And well, I can't say that I grew up in a family like that, where they told me you should be a lot of people there. No, never told me that. I understand that I probably feel here the way I want to live.
Yeah.
I feel, so comfortable here. But when you find yourself in a foreign country without knowledge, a decent knowledge of the language, it's understandable. Good morning is one thing. But when it's important for you to say what you feel in your heart, it's important to share with these people, but you don't have that opportunity. Your mouth is always shut. And I understand that even some 20 years of living in this country won't bring you that understanding. Yeah, that's on ball. That's you inside a person. And from here, I think I'll definitely start to get sick. That's for sure. Because, by the way, I don't understand people who stole something there and left, moved away. Honestly, I understand how they suffer there. Any person, it seems to me, is being disingenuous when they say, oh, I live here, great, I have a palace there, and so on. Talijalt, there are still dreams inside. Ada not so nice. That's for sure, because this is the land of your ancestors. Your parents are buried here. It's like the program about American. He's not an American. He's a Russian soldier.
Yeah.
Who, during the Great Epic War, the Allies told him that if you return to their country, they'll put you in camps. Gee, let's go with us. And he agreed, he went. And it turns out he was expelled from the Soviet Union as missing in action. He settled comfortably in one place at first, but eventually ended up with a woman who bore him 5 sons. And now he's already getting on in years. Literally, a program aired the last 5 years. He comes here with 4 of his 5 sons. Yeah. All his Prinzed here, of course, in some small village, and they found photographs of his mother. So he doesn't see any of his relatives. It's terrible to live with the feeling that your parents are here and you're somewhere in a foreign country with a foreign language, with a completely foreign culture. What I don't know, I understand, is that Sebeshkamak is different in Russia. Anyway, I tried looking that there's not up, it's not the same. And then I say, and you, I say, I know you feed your cattle grass. I say, but I say, feed grain. Even the richness of the broth is hugely different.
Yeah. Good. We all know it, and so do our viewers. Dimash Dardin is a handsome guy. Could you introduce me to him? Anyone from Kazakhstan willing to date him? There's no news about him having a Kazakh girlfriend. Everyone's looking at articles about Dimash, Dirgazhinov's girlfriend. He keeps going off topic, saying, no.
Look, I can tell you this and answer this.
Yeah, and
When a guy is sitting in front of you, say behind the camera, you're not interested in him, right? For him to be interested, he'd have to immediately become some kind of megastar. You can make him that way yourself. Any star you're close to. I mean, in the eyes of a woman and a girl, a loved one automatically becomes a star. So if you fall deeply in love with someone, that's your star. And then in life is how you say bring him to what level. As for Dimash, he takes his choice of wife very seriously. Talked about this 2 years ago. Who? Yeah. So only the one who can please him. But after all, they're all grandparents, mom and dad. So it's a big family. They're brothers and sisters. And she has a difficult task. Honestly, I understand all her difficulties. It's psychological, let's say, finding a common language with everyone. It's not an easy task. Because get into, say, a celebrity family would be really difficult for a simpleton girl. So this still needs to be proven. That is, there's little love in our Kazakh families. Not enough love. Sometimes that's not enough for us. You have to be very flexible in any case. Yeah. In order to please everyone.